This is a screencast for point slope form. In the screencast, we are going to focus on writing the equation of a line in point slope form when given 2 points on the line. This is the second part of our screencast. The first part is more of a point slope form intro, so I would make sure that you watch that first, because in this screencast, I'm assuming that you already have that introduction to point slope form. The reason that we use point slope form is because of when we write or graph equations of lines in many different forms. Also, we use this form a lot in future math classes. It's just an all-around great general form that I think just doesn't get a lot of publicity. Prior to having a good understanding of this lesson, you really should understand how to calculate slope using the calculate slope formula when you're calculating the slope of a line when given 2 points. So as we take a look, again, this is point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and m represents the slope as always, and then in this case x1 y1 is just any point on the line. So this is going to be the first of 2 examples that we're going to look at, and our first job is to write the equation of a line that passes through these 2 points, -4, -5, and 1, 2. So whenever you're writing the equation of any line ever, no matter what form, you need to know the slope. So what I'm going to do is use the calculate slope formula. So m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we want the difference of the y's over the difference of the x's. And usually I just refer to the first point as point 1, and I refer to the second point as point 2. So when I substitute my values, that would be 2 minus -5 over 1 minus -4, and use my calculator to also maybe help simplify. We figure out that the slope is 7/5 and make sure that that's in simplest form. Now, I actually have 2 choices because there's 2 different points, and both answers are correct. You just have to be able to recognize when one might be better, or with the one that's being asked for rather than the other. So I'm just going to write one of the equations. So again, I use y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I'm going to use the -4, -5 because that's the one that comes first. And when I do my substituting, that's going to be y minus my y is -5 equals my slope, which we calculated was 7/5, open parentheses with my x minus, and then my x1 is -4. Now this is not like as simplified as we would like it, just in terms of we don't like to see minus and negative. So I'm just gonna, simplify this up by saying it's y plus 5 and x plus 4. Now, in terms of simplify, you're done. Point slope form, you're expecting to see parentheses. So this is it. This is point slope form. And this is one form of the equation. Now, the other equation, I could have used 1, 2. And actually, I like 1, 2 better because there's no negatives. So again, it's going to be y minus, and I'm going to use the y coordinate of 2. Then I've got my slope, which is still 7/5. I open up my parentheses, x minus, then I use the x coordinate. And that's point slope form, all done. So both of these answers are fine. Now, if you're doing the practice on Khan Academy, it's only going to show you the first half. It's going to say, okay, here's the first half of the equation. Can you type the rest of the half? Or can you type the other half? So like it might say, oh, finish it for y minus 2. And if they put y minus 2, you have to be able to put 7/5 times x minus 1. Or they might say, hey, finish the equation if it starts off with y plus 5, in which case you would have to type out the 7/5 times x plus 4. If you're doing a worksheet, doesn't matter which point you use, just as long as you are using it correctly. Let's take a look at one more example. We are going to write the equation of a line that passes through the points -3, 5 and 7, 10, and we're going to write it in point slope form. So again, first thing we need to calculate is the slope. I'm going to use the calculate slope formula. Plug in my values. It would be 10 minus 5, which is 5. 7 minus -3 is 10. But we want to make sure that we're simplifying. So calculators usually will simplify. So 5 over 10 will simplify to 1/2. And then let's take a look. I'm going to write the equation twice. You don't have to on a quiz, just write one of them, but I'm going to demonstrate with two. So I'm going to use the first point for my first side. So -3, 5. So it's going to be y minus my y coordinate, which is 5, equals, my slope is 1/2, and then x minus, and my x coordinate is -3. And as I mentioned, we're probably going to want to simplify this to x plus 3. So y minus 5 equals 1/2 times x plus 3. Now, you could have decided on your quiz to use 7, 10. I like it because it's all positives. So I just might say y minus the y coordinate equals the slope, which is still 1/2, x minus, and then 7. Both of those answers work. And those were two examples on how you could write the equation of a line in point slope form when given 2 points on the line.